ones that suffer. We are the ones that suffer. So it's so important to look at your life and identify the areas of your life that you have not forgiven people. Well, first of all, it really is important to ask and to explain what is forgiveness. And I really think that forgiveness simply is for giving yourself freedom. Forgive. Give for yourself freedom. Free yourself from those chains that bind you. The question, of course, then becomes is, well, what do we need to forgive? What we need to forgive, it's usually the same thing for all of us. It just looks differently. And to really explain the core of what I believe we need to work on is explaining what I call the pain cycle. We were all born perfect, whole, and divine. Bar none. We were all born perfect, whole, and divine, brilliant beings of light. Everyone. Not one person in this room was not. Not one person on this planet was not born perfect, whole, and divine. And we knew it. We knew it for probably 4 or 5 years. We walked around, we did things, we knew we were the best thing since sliced bread. We laughed when we wanted to laugh, we cried when we were angry, but we got over it. Then we started taking things personally. Between the age of 5 and 10, we became what's called egocentric, which means we started thinking that everything that was happening out there was about us. And traditionally, it wasn't about our worthiness that all was happening. It was because of our unworthiness. Dad wouldn't stop drinking because I wasn't good enough. Mom wouldn't stop doing this because I wasn't lovable enough. Grandpa wouldn't have died if I was a good enough boy. And so we then create these lack-based beliefs that we run with for the rest of our lives. Those lack-based beliefs, unfortunately, are lies, and those are the beliefs that keep us in the chains of hell. What do we do when we're in pain? We turn externally to things to medicate ourselves. So we have this core belief that brings us pain. We then turn to substance. We turn to addiction. We turn to control. We turn to various forms of external things to help us numb and feel and to cover up the pain. Problem is, it doesn't go away. It's temporary. And then the worst part is that once we're done doing that activity, we then feel worse about ourselves. So what happens? We then go back to the thing that numbs us out. And there you have the addiction cycle or the pain cycle. What we need to do as human beings is identify what is that core belief that we created when we were 5 years old, 6, 7, 8 years old, and update it, correct it with the truth of who you are. That you are, in fact, perfect, whole, and divine. What we need to realize, and this is where a little bit of forgiveness does come in, is that between the age of 5 and 10, whatever that situation was happening, it wasn't about you. It wasn't personal. You've heard me talk many times about the book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. The second agreement says, don't take anything personally. What people do has nothing to do with you. What people do is because they need to do it for themselves. Has nothing to do with your worthiness. Has nothing to do with your worth. Am I saying the behavior is that behavior that they did was good? Am I saying it's okay? No. But at least if you understand that person was doing something because they felt they need to, you'll have a more compassionate understanding for them. And then more importantly is then start having a compassion and a gentleness for yourself, for that child that went through that experience and then took it personally. And then begin living the rest of his or her life believing that irrational lie. That core belief that is not in alignment with who you truly are. That is truly the work that we need to do.